And this is Shireen Purewal with the BC Home Group, and I'm so happy to be here at the George Pavilion Park. What a beautiful place in Esquimalt, right by the water. Today was the Esquimalt, well, not particularly Esquimalt, it happened to be in Esquimalt, but the Japanese fair. It was actually really neat. Met a lot of people, all willing to share part of the culture. And I really want to go to Japan. I mean, from the food to the animes to the technology, it's phenomenal, and I'm excited to share more about this day with you shortly. Hey everyone, we're right here at the Japanese Cultural Fair, I believe.
Yes,
correct?
it is, yeah.
And tell us more about your outfit and what today's all about.
Oh, yeah. So I am part of the group called the Southern Wave Okinawa Music and Dance Society.
Excellent.
We are from Vancouver, actually,
okay.
and we are invited to perform here in Victoria for the Japanese Cultural Fair. And we are so excited to be here because it's a rare opportunity to be outside of town and perform.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, welcome to the
23rd Japanese Cultural Fair, held right here at Esquimalt Park Pavilion, right beside the gorge. It is beautiful. It is scorchingly hot out here, and there are lots of people. It's just great. You got to come on down. It's a fantastic festival.
Okay, so Len, the reason why we're here is we're both realtors and we both love cars.
We both love cars. We do.
I don't know nothing about classic cars, though. Sorry, guys, but I love them, but I don't know much about them. But you know so much. So, Len,
I'm a bit mad about classic cars, or all cars, to be honest. All vehicles, in fact. But that's another story for another day. But yeah, what makes Japanese cars so great? Generally, about three principles: design, engineering, performance.
Excellent.
And these are the three tenets that you really want. You know, you want a good design, you want to be happy in the car you're in. It must look good, it must suit you.
Okay, so without further ado, show us our first car right now.
So the first car,
let's have a pan to
of this grouping here it's a 1999 Nissan Skyline GTR. It's an R34. This is the first year they came out. Of course, they won the Drivers' Championship in the JGTC, the Japan Grand Touring Car Championship.
What does R mean? Like, I don't know.
R means race.
Race. There you go.
Race performance, race ready, race tech. Yeah. And this one is a particularly special version of this R34 Skyline. It is the V-Spec, and that is just a higher performance package. Very rare. Only a few hundred were made with V-Spec. There's V-Spec and V-Spec 2, and V-Spec 2s go for just ridiculous money because of their exclusivity and their rareness. And
this car right here looks like an old car to me. How much would you say is this car worth?
This car was probably bought by the guy here. It would have been at least 60 Canadian, probably 80 or so. It wouldn't have cost that much at auction in Japan. But, oh, sorry, this is a V-Spec. Of course, it's going to be more than that. And a V-Spec 2 would be much more than that. This car, there's probably only about 8 or 10 of these in Canada.
Okay.
And then the one above this, the V-Spec 2, they're going for $250,000 US, but you never see them. But that's, again, because of how few were made. So you're buying one of 600, 200, something like that. So it's not like a regular consumer product at all. It's so exclusive and so rare, and they only make a limited number, you know, they decide it before they make them. So, you know, it's a limited number, and that's not going to change.
And who's the maker of this car? Sorry, I don't know.
One of the greatest manufacturers in Japanese automotive history, Nissan.
Nissan.
Oh, yeah. Nissan, full on, pure performance, fantastic design, great engineering, all of the attributes you want. All the Japanese makers, all the main makers are fantastic at all this. But yes.
But Nissan for racing and performance, you think?
Nissan is the most successful domestic brand in Japanese domestic racing over the last 55 years.
Wow.
They've won more races than probably all other manufacturers combined, and certainly
more than Ferrari and Lamborghini.
More than other Japanese manufacturers in the Japanese domestic racing scene. Okay, Nissan is number one.
Excellent. Yeah. All right, so what car do you want to take us to next, Len?
The next car we're going to take a look at is next door, and this is another classic Japanese car. This is a Mazda Miata in North America.
These are popular. People love them
super popular cars. They've made over 1 million of them in the last 30 years. This car was Mazda's answer. This is the thing that saved Mazda or brought Mazda to a new generation of people. It is a very similar car to a car from 20 years earlier from the 1970s, from 1970, the Lotus Elan. It's very similar in its proportions and its design, its layout, and of course its balance. It has a 50-50 weight distribution, which very, very few cars have. So driving this car is the feeling of balance. One of the most well-handling and well-balanced cars ever made.
Really? I
And,
always see it as a little convertible on the highway.
Great little
but I
sports
always
car.
see everyone just loves driving it.
These are real drivers' cars, and this is getting back to the origin, the spirit of racing, where you can feel it in the seat of your pants. These are great cars. I just don't have a bad word to say about them.
Really?
And they've been
And
like
they're
this,
popular here in Victoria. I see lots of them
popular
on the
all
highway.
over the world. They've
Yeah.
sold over 1 million of these. You know, at that time, there was basically no manufacturers making a small 2-seater sports car, and Mazda came in with
and
this.
They grabbed that out. And they're still
And
doing well. They're still like
They're a fantastic
people
company.
who love it.
Yeah, and they've done so many things since then. Sky Active technology, all sorts of things that are attributable to Mazda. But for sure,
You
I
like
mean, this is an
Miata.
absolute hit. Yes, absolute hit.
Okay,
Great
awesome.
car,
Well,
and
thanks for the...
they don't really make them like this. Now, a few other makers are trying to do small 2-seater sports cars like this. But Mazda has been the most successful in history based on their numbers, right? But
Excellent.
yeah, no, great car. Can't say anything bad about it. We have a few more cars here, and we're going to look at this center one here. This is a 1990 Honda. Forget what the nomenclature of the model is.
I feel
CRX.
like back in high school we drove these or something.
You sure
Like,
did. And you know, this car is from 1990, so it's 33 years old. And if you check the odometer, there's 250,000 kilometers. This car has traveled 250,000 kilometers, and look
Wow.
at how clean it is. Just fantastic.
Immaculate. Probably same owner.
It may have been the same motor throughout, you
Yeah.
know, but it's just amazing. I mean, if you look at the paint, is that original paint? No,
No, yeah.
it couldn't be. It's so...
It's immaculate.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, when I looked at the odometer, I just thought, major time warp. This, yeah, no, it is just...
It looks great.
That's the cleanest CRX I've ever seen, I think. Well, I was in a showroom once when they were new, you know, but same thing.
But okay, so another amazing Japanese vehicle, very popular.
Again, super efficient, fantastic powertrain. Yeah, you can't go wrong. You just can't go wrong.
Excellent.
This next car in the row came out here in Canada as a Toyota Corolla. This is the Treno 11 in Japan. Very famous car from Initial D. There's a manga, Initial D, and this is what the guy drives. Hugely popular car throughout the 80s and 90s in Japan. It came out in 1986, hence the name 86,
Amazing.
AE86.
The
And
Trinity.
this is another cult classic among Japanese cars. And
Toyota.
for some people, this is the cultural car among Japanese
Really?
cars. I mean, there are just so many that they could choose from, but certainly the AE86 is a legendary car, and if people are into manga and so on.
And you know, there's this big thing about Japanese being famous for exporting vehicles, because they have a law that you can't keep a car older than 5-10 years. So they're one of I know in Africa, they're always importing cars from Japan
Well,
secondhand. That
so-
are not bad.
So
They have some
actually,
strict
the
rules.
rule is you can own a car after 5 or 10 years, but to keep it on the road and to keep it legal to code starts to cost a lot of
More
money, so
money.
that it becomes impractical. And so
They're always
those cars,
shipping, yeah.
those cars they go through the auction system and they get shipped overseas, and many cars go to Africa, many cars go to Russia, and so on, and to
And
many
some
other
I've
markets
seen here,
around the world.
some really cute minibuses from Japan I've
Sure.
seen here too.
Yeah, there's the one right over there. There's a Hi-Ace right there. That's a
Oh,
right-hand
okay.
drive one. And these are, so the rule in Canada is there's a 15-year rule. You can't bring any of these cars in until they're at least 15 years old. It's protectionism for the auto industry in North America.
Okay, right.
And
Oh, interesting.
because we build good cars in North America, but not as good as Japan.
Man, Toyota all the way.
So
hey?
anyways,
Incredible.
Anyway, so it's a 15-year rule. So there are lots of cars going overseas. There are probably between 4 and 7 million cars going overseas through that auction system.
I've heard about it.
Sorry,
And I've
7
seen
million
it
through
in
the
Africa,
auctions every
lots.
year, and about half of them are, I'm not sure what the percentage is, it might be as many as half are going overseas, because to keep them in Japan is difficult because they need to stay to code, and it just
And
costs
it's
a lot of money.
expensive. I've heard
Yeah.
that.
So we're going to go to the last car here.
Okay.
This is a car that is incredibly important for Honda, was very important for Honda. And this originally, the Civic originally came out in North America in 1973. This one's a little bit later, it's a 79,
Yeah.
but it's the same body style from 73 to 79. In fact, I would argue that 78 they changed the body style, but whatever.
Okay.
So when the new Accord came out, but anyway, I'm not
check
going to
the
get into
front
the details. But it's great to see a Civic. Like, this is a first generation Honda Civic. Now you look at the Civic Type R, they're built in Britain, some of the best Japanese technology ever, just a racing car for the street, basically.
Yeah.
And but this is where it all started, and of course this.
Oh yeah, and Fast and Furious, you always see the Hondas racing.
And this was not Honda's first car, of course. They had the 600 and the 800 before it. And but this was, in North America, this is the first full-size Honda car. Because of course Honda was always known as a motorcycle manufacturer. One of the greatest manufacturers in history, both in bikes and cars.
So a question for you, Len, right? For a classic lover, where do you get all the parts for these cars? They don't exist. Do they get 3D printers to make them, or like
Internet?
Internet has
There's lots actually, because it's
I've
an
heard that they get machines
enthusiast-based
now to make parts that
pursuit. Yeah, you can do that. That's an
Yeah.
expensive way, and for really high-end cars, they will do that. They'll bill it out of whatever magnesium, whatever the material is required, and they will do that. But that is also very, very expensive. But the internet trade is huge. It's an enthusiast-based pursuit, and there are people selling stuff all over the place. So you can get all sorts of. That's where the variety comes in. There's more stuff for sale than you can buy.
Amazing. Yeah.
But you can try. You know, you
But
can
this
try and
is
buy it all.
incredible. Thanks for enlightening me. And just as
My
much
pleasure.
as he knows about homes, he knows. I mean, as he knows about
Cars?
cars, he knows about homes too. So it's always a pleasure now learning
Thank you,
this
Sharon.
side
It's
from
always
you.
a pleasure.
So thanks a lot, and thanks to all you guys.
Thanks, you guys.
Like
Make
and
sure
subscribe.
Make sure you come out to the Victoria Nikkei Cultural Festival next year. It's on all day today, of course, and is it on tomorrow too? No, it's just today.
Nikkei being Japanese.
Nikkei being Japanese, or
Okay,
all of
awesome.
Japanese culture. So come on down. It's great. Lots of things to eat and so on as well.
Amazing.
And yeah, there's the snow cones, various things that people in Japan have in the summer. You've got to come and check it out. So thanks for watching. Have a great day, you guys.
Thank
And
you.
share and like. Thank you.